The bullet missed Amanda's head by 3 inches. She felt the heat of it sear past her ear, heard the whisper crack of metal cutting air, watched it punch a hole through the hospital window behind her, and send glass raining down like deadly snow. Kong's family had sent their answer, and it wasn't an invitation to negotiate. Amanda hit the floor, dragging Kong's 4 stand with her, years of survival instinct from Chicago's South Side flooding back like muscle memory. The second shot came before the first glass shard hit the ground. This one closer, close enough that she felt the air displacement against her cheek. "Stay down," she screamed at Kong, who was already rolling off the bed with surprising agility for a dying man. His hand reaching for the weapon Scar had hidden under his mattress 3 days ago. The third shot never came. Instead, the door exploded inward, and 4 men in black tactical gear poured through like water breaking a dam. Not hospital security, not police, not even Kong's guards. These were family, and they weren't here to talk. Welcome back to True Soul Stories, where we don't just tell stories, we survive them. If you're just joining us, stop right now and go watch part 1 because what's about to happen will make 0 sense without it. And if you made it through part 1, comment below and tell me where you're watching from, because I need to know which parts of the world are brave enough to handle what comes next. Seoul, Chicago, Lagos, London. Drop your city because this story is about to go global. Now let's get back to Amanda, who's about to show these men exactly what happens when you bring a gun to a fight with a black woman from the South Side, who's got nothing left to lose and everything to prove. The lead man aimed his weapon at Kong's head. Amanda didn't think, didn't calculate, didn't weigh her options like a rational person who wanted to live through the next 30 seconds. She grabbed the 4-pole and swung it like a baseball bat straight into the gunman's knee. The crack was audible. So was his scream. He went down hard, weapon clattering, and Amanda was already moving, already pivoting, already bringing that metal pole around in an arc that would have made her high school softball coach proud. "You picked the wrong one today," she snarled, and connected with the second man's jaw with enough force to spin his head sideways. Kong was up now, weapon in hand despite his hospital gown and the oxygen tube still trailing from his nose. He looked ridiculous. He looked dangerous. He looked very much like his sister, who'd once told Amanda that the best time to fight is when people underestimate you. The third man made the mistake of reaching for Amanda instead of Kong. She dropped low, swept his legs, and when he hit the ground, she brought her elbow down on his throat hard enough to make him rethink his career choices. Amanda! Kong's warning came half a second too late. The fourth man had recovered, had his weapon up, had it aimed at Amanda's chest with the kind of steady hands that said professional, said trained, said this woman is already dead. But here's where everything shifted. Because Scar came through the door like a freight train made of rage and tactical expertise, and suddenly the fourth man was on the ground with a knee on his neck and a gun to his temple. "You good?" Scar asked Amanda, not even breathing hard. Amanda was breathing plenty hard, adrenaline flooding her system, her hands shaking with the aftermath of violence. But she nodded. "I'm good." "You're insane," Kong corrected, staring at her like he'd never seen her before. "You just fought off 3 armed men within 4 pole. They were between me and my patient," Amanda said, smoothing down her scrubs like she hadn't just committed assault with medical equipment. "That's unacceptable." Kong laughed, the sound slightly hysterical, slightly odd, completely inappropriate for the situation. "My sister didn't tell me you were crazy. She probably didn't know. I've grown since nursing school." Amanda kicked one of the groaning men. "Who sent you? And don't lie because I just proved I'm not in the mood for nonsense." The man whose knee she destroyed looked up at her with pain-glazed eyes and something like respect. "The family, the elders, they want him dead before he can." He cut off, fear replacing pain. "Before I can what?" Kong pressed his weapon against the man's temple. "Finish the sentence. Before you can find the sister's child. Before you can learn the truth about what happened 7 years ago." The man's eyes darted between Kong and Amanda. "They know she's helping you. They know she's the one from America. They want her dead too." Amanda's blood ran cold. "How do they know about me?" "They've always known. Since the sister first mentioned you. Since the day you came back to Seoul 6 months ago." The man coughed, blood flecking his lips. "You think you were invisible?" "They were watching, waiting, wondering if you'd approach him. When you saved him at the mall, when you stayed," he laughed bitterly. "You signed your death warrant. Then they better have more than 4 guys with guns," Amanda said, her voice hard as diamonds. "Because I'm from Chicago's South Side, and I've survived worse than a Mafia family with control issues." Kong looked at her, really looked at her, seeing past the nurse to the survivor underneath. You never told me about Chicago. You never asked. And we were busy with your attempted murder situation. Amanda turned to Scar. How long before more come? Minutes. Maybe less. The family's in full crisis mode. Yun's arrest, the failed poisoning, the evidence we gathered. Scar hauled the fourth man to his feet. They're cleaning house. Anyone who knows too much, anyone who could testify, anyone who could help you, is getting eliminated. Kong finished. His face had gone hard, calculating. Then we leave. Now. You're not stable enough to. Amanda started. I'm stable enough to not get shot in a hospital bed. Kong was already moving, disconnecting monitors, yanking out his four with the casual brutality of a man who'd done this before. Scar, get the evidence. Everything we compiled on Yun, on the family doctor, all of it. Amanda, you're with me. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me the plan. Kong stopped, met her eyes. The plan is we survive the next hour. Then we find my sister's child. Then we burn my family to the ground for what they did. He grabbed her wrist, gentle despite the urgency. But I can't do any of that if you're dead. So please, for once in your stubborn life, trust me and move. Amanda wanted to argue, wanted to insist on proper discharge procedures and medical oversight, and all the things her training demanded. But the look in Kong's eyes stopped her. Because it was the same look his sister had given her 7 years ago when she'd said, I need you to trust me, Amanda. I need you to run with me and not ask questions until we're safe. Amanda had trusted her then, had run with her through Boston's winter streets, had hidden in a motel room for 3 days, had learned that sometimes survival means moving first and asking questions later. So she moved. They made it to the elevator before the shooting started. The stairwell doors burst open and 6 more men poured through, weapons drawn, faces covered. Kong shoved Amanda behind him, returning fire with the kind of practiced ease that reminded her exactly who he was, what world she'd stepped into. Scar was beside him instantly, laying down covering fire, giving them the seconds they needed for the elevator doors to close. Basement, Kong commanded, hitting the button. Service exit. We have cars waiting. Amanda pressed herself against the elevator wall. How long have you been planning an escape? Since Yun first suggested wedding dates. Kong checked his weapon, counted rounds with muscle memory. You think I'd let myself get trapped in a hospital without an exit strategy? My sister taught me better than that. The elevator descended with agonizing slowness. Amanda could hear boots pounding on the stairs, voices shouting, the building coming alive with violence. They're going to kill everyone who helped us, she said quietly. The nurses, the staff, innocent people. I know. Kong's jaw clenched. I'll make it right. After we survive. That's a lot of afters. Welcome to my world. The elevator dinged. Basement level. The doors opened onto concrete and fluorescent lights, and Scar's second-in-command waiting with keys in hand. Cars are ready, boss. But we got a problem. Of course we do, Kong muttered. They've got the exits covered. All of them. We counted at least 20 men, maybe more. The man's face was grim. They're not trying to capture you. They're trying to erase you. Kong looked at Amanda. Can you drive? Can I? Amanda laughed, the sound slightly unhinged. Did you just ask a black woman from Chicago if she can drive? Baby, I learned to drive running from police at 16. I can drive anything with wheels and some things without them. Kong's smile was sharp and appreciative. Then you're driving. Scar, you're shooting. He swayed slightly, and Amanda caught his elbow. You're bleeding, she said flatly, noticing for the first time the red staining his hospital gown. Just my foresight. I ripped it out too fast. That's not for blood. That's arterial. Amanda's nurse training overrode her survival instinct. Kong, you're hemorrhaging. I'll hemorrhage after we're not surrounded by hitmen. You'll be dead after if I don't stop this now. Amanda was already pressing her hand against his arm, applying pressure, her mind cataloging symptoms. You tore something when you rolled off the bed. Your blood pressure's dropping. I can see it in your face. Amanda, shut up and let me work. She turned to Scar's man. First aid kit. Now. He hesitated, looking at Kong for confirmation. She outranks you, Kong said tiredly. Get the kit. 30 seconds later, Amanda had Kong's arm wrapped tight enough to slow the bleeding, had assessed his pupils and pulse, and had made the kind of split-second decision that separates adequate nurses from great ones. You're not driving, she told Scar. You're holding pressure on this wound. I'm driving. Kong's going to sit still and not die in my back seat. Or so help me, I will resurrect him just to kill him again. Yes, ma'am, Kong said with a slight smile. Don't ma'am me. I'm too young and too stressed for ma'am. Amanda grabbed the keys. Which car? The black sedan. Bulletproof glass, reinforced doors, engine that can outrun most police vehicles. Scar was already guiding Kong toward it. But Amanda, the exits are covered. I heard. Amanda slid into the driver's seat, adjusted the mirrors with practiced efficiency, and felt something settle in her chest. Something calm and cold and absolutely done with today's nonsense. Then we make our own exit. She started the engine. It purred like a predator. Kong was in the back seat, Scar applying pressure to his arm, 3 other guards piling into SUVs behind them. The basement garage had 2 exits, one blocked by family gunmen, the other leading to a street probably also blocked by family gunmen. Amanda chose the third option. She aimed for the wall. What are you doing? Scar shouted. Making an exit. Hold on. The sedan hit the concrete wall at 40 miles per hour. The reinforced front crumpled the barrier like paper, and suddenly they were airborne, crashing through into the street beyond, sparks flying, metal screaming, horns blaring. Amanda corrected the spin with the kind of precision that comes from a misspent youth and too many close calls, hit the gas, and left the hospital behind in a cloud of concrete dust and chaos. You're insane, Kong yelled from the back. You already said that. Amanda wove through traffic, ignoring lights, ignoring lanes, ignoring every traffic law Soul had ever written. Now shut up and don't bleed on my patient gown. Gunfire erupted behind them. The rear window spiderwebbed, but held, bulletproof, as advertised. Amanda took a hard right, then a left, then jumped a curb to bypass a delivery truck, her hands steady on the wheel, her mind 3 moves ahead. She'd learned to drive like this in Chicago, running from gang violence and police harassment and the kind of systematic oppression that teaches you to see every street as either an escape route or a trap. Soul streets were different, but the principle was the same. Stay moving, stay unpredictable, stay alive. They're still following. Scar reported, looking back. I can see that. Amanda took another corner hard enough to make the tires scream. Kong, you conscious back there? Unfortunately, yes. Good. Stay that way. I need you to tell me where we're going because driving in circles only works for so long. Safe house. Kong managed through gritted teeth. Gangnam District. Building my sister bought under a false name. Family doesn't know about it. You hope they don't know about it. I hope a lot of things. Doesn't mean they come true. Kong coughed, and Amanda heard the wetness in it that meant bad things. Amanda, if I don't make it. Stop. You're not dying in my car. I just got this gig, and I'm not starting my criminal career with a dead boss. Amanda's voice was sharp, but her hands were shaking. Besides, your sister would kill me. Then kill you. Then probably kill me again for good measure. Kong laughed weakly. She really would. They lost 2 pursuing cars in the next 5 minutes. Amanda drove like Soul streets were her personal racetrack, taking shortcuts through alleys that shouldn't fit a sedan, jumping curbs, running lights, and generally violating every principle of safe driving her instructor had tried to teach her. But here's the thing about Amanda. She'd never been safe, had never had the luxury of safety, had learned young that sometimes survival means breaking rules, breaking laws, breaking everything except your own spine. So she drove like survival depended on it. Because it did. The safe house appeared after 20 minutes of high-speed chess with Soul's geography. A nondescript building in a wealthy neighborhood, the kind of place that screamed, nothing to see here, so loudly it became invisible. Amanda pulled into the underground garage, killed the engine, and twisted around to check Kong. He was pale. Too pale. His breathing shallow. The makeshift bandage on his arm soaked through. We need a hospital, she said. We just left a hospital, Kong pointed out. A different hospital. One where your family isn't trying to murder you. Doesn't exist. Kong tried to sit up, failed, slumped back. Amanda, listen. There's a medical kit upstairs. Everything you need. My sister set it up years ago. She knew one day, he coughed again. One day we might need to go off-grid. Your sister thought of everything. She had to. Our family doesn't tolerate weakness. Scar helped Kong out of the car while Amanda grabbed the medical supplies from the trunk, her mind already cataloging what she'd need, what she'd have to improvise, how close to the edge Kong was dancing. The safe house was 3 floors of carefully maintained anonymity. Furniture that looked lived in but wasn't. Appliances that worked but showed no signs of use. The ghost of Kong's sister hanging in every careful detail. Amanda found the medical kit in a bedroom closet and her breath caught. It was professional grade. Hospital quality. stocked with everything from basic sutures to advanced cardiac medications to equipment that shouldn't be available outside a surgical suite. Kong's sister had built a complete emergency medical facility into this closet. She really was prepared, Amanda whispered. She was terrified, Kong said from the doorway, leaning heavily on Scar. Of our family. Of what they'd do. He swayed. Of dying alone where no one could help her. Amanda's throat tightened. But she pushed emotion aside, fell into the clinical mindset her training had burned into her bones, and pointed at the bed. Sit. Don't move. And for the love of God, stop being a hero before you bleed out on your sister's carpet. Kong obeyed, which told Amanda exactly how bad he was feeling. She worked with the efficiency of practice and the desperation of caring, cleaning the wound, assessing the damage, using sutures and pressure, and every trick Kong's sister had taught her during late-night study sessions. You tore your brachial artery, she said as she worked. Not completely, but enough. If you'd kept moving, kept fighting, she met his eyes. You'd be dead. But I'm not. But you're not, Amanda agreed. Because apparently I can't let you die. Even when you're doing your best to make my job impossible. Kong watched her work, his gaze heavy with things unsaid. Finally, why did you come back? Really? You could have stayed in America. Stayed safe. Stayed out of this. Amanda's hands paused for just a moment, then continued suturing. Your sister saved my life, she said quietly. Not just from circumstances. From myself. I was angry when I met her. Angry at the world, at the system, at every person who'd looked at my black face and decided I was less than. I was failing out of school. Failing at life. She tied off a suture with perhaps more force than necessary. She saw me. Really saw me. Told me my anger was valid but shouldn't be my only fuel. Taught me to channel it into purpose. So you came back out of gratitude. I came back out of love. Amanda looked up at him. She was my sister too. Maybe not by blood. Maybe not by law. But by choice. By the kind of bond that says, I will walk through fire for you because you did it for me. She returned to her work. When she told me to watch over you, it wasn't a burden. It was a gift. A way to keep her alive. To honor what she taught me. Kong's eyes were suspiciously bright. She chose well. She always did. Amanda finished the suturing, wrapped Kong's arm properly, and gave him the kind of stern look that had made nursing students cower. You stay in this bed for at least 4 hours. No arguments. No negotiations. Your body needs rest and blood replacement, and about 6 months of therapy you're never going to do. Yes, ma'am. I said don't call me ma'am. Yes, what should I call you? Amanda considered. Call me the woman keeping you alive. That'll do. Scar appeared in the doorway. Boss, we got movement. Someone found the safe house. Every muscle in Amanda's body tensed. How is that possible? You said the family didn't know about this place. They didn't. Scar's face was grim. Which means either they're better than we thought, or someone told them. Kong finished. His hand moved to the weapon on the nightstand. How many? Just one. A woman. Alone. Scar's face did something complicated. You need to see this, boss. They moved to the living room where security monitors showed the building's entrance. And on screen, clear as day, stood a woman in a dark coat, her face turned up to the camera with deliberate intent. She was Korean, mid-30s, beautiful in the sharp way of cut glass, and looking at the camera like she could see through it to the people watching. Kong made a sound like all the air had left his lungs. That's impossible, he whispered. What? Amanda looked between the screen and Kong's face. Who is she? My sister, Kong said. That's my sister. The world tilted. Amanda stared at the screen, at the woman who was supposed to be dead, murdered 7 years ago during childbirth, erased by the family for the crime of wanting freedom. But here she was, alive, standing at the door of her own safe house with a kind of casual confidence that said she knew exactly what kind of chaos her appearance would cause. That's not possible, Amanda breathed. Yun said. Yun lied. Kong was on his feet despite Amanda's protests, despite his injury, despite every medical reason he should stay horizontal. Or Yun was lied to. Or, he stumbled toward the door. Kong, wait. Amanda grabbed his good arm. This could be a trap. If your family knows about her, if they have her, then I need to know. Kong's eyes were wild with hope and fear and desperate need. I need to know if my sister is alive. The intercom buzzed, and a voice, familiar and strange all at once, filled the room. Hello, little brother. Are you going to make me stand out here all day, or are you going to let me in? It was her. Kong's sister. Alive. Real. Impossible. Scar's hand was on his weapon. This could still be a trap, boss. They could have used her to find us. If they wanted us dead, they'd have blown the building. Kong moved to the intercom. How do I know it's really you? Because I'm about to tell you something only we know. Something I never told anyone, not even Amanda. A pause. When you were 7, you fell off the compound wall trying to prove you were brave enough to join the family business. Broke your arm. Cried for hours. I held you and told you that bravery isn't about not being scared. It's about being terrified and doing what needs to be done anyway. And you asked me, what if I'm not brave enough? Kong finished, his voice cracking. I asked you what if I'm not brave enough for this family. And I said you were already braver than all of them combined. Because you still had a heart. The woman on screen smiled, sad and fierce. Now let me in, Kong. We have a lot to discuss. And not much time to do it. Kong hit the button. The door unlocked with a heavy click. And Amanda felt the story she thought she knew shatter into pieces and reform into something bigger, more dangerous, more impossible. Because if Kong's sister was alive, if she'd been alive this whole time, then everything, Yun's confession, the family's actions, the missing child, all of it, meant something different, meant something worse. The elevator dinged. Footsteps approached. The door opened. And there she was. Not a ghost. Not a memory. Not a hope. Real. She looked older than Amanda remembered from the photos Kong had shown her. Harder. The softness that had made her such a good friend, such a gentle teacher, had been burned away by 7 years of whatever had kept her breathing. But her eyes were the same. Sharp. Kind. Fierce. They landed on Kong first, taking in his pale face, his bandaged arm, the way he swayed on his feet. Idiot, she said fondly. You look like death. You look alive, Kong managed. Which is better than I expected. Then her eyes found Amanda, and something in them shifted, softened, broke. You came back, she whispered. I told you not to come back. You also told me to watch over him if he needed me. Amanda's voice was steady despite the earthquake happening in her chest. Seems like he needed me. He always did. Kong's sister stepped fully into the room, and Amanda could see it now, the careful way she moved, the bodyguard awareness, the life lived on the edge. I'm sorry, Amanda. I'm sorry I made you promise. I'm sorry I brought you into this. I'm sorry for... Don't. Amanda's voice cut sharp. Don't apologize for trusting me. Don't apologize for teaching me to be strong enough to keep a promise. She crossed the room in 3 strides and did something that surprised them both. She hugged her. Hugged the woman who'd saved her life in a Boston dorm room 7 years ago. The woman who'd taught her that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about getting back up when you do. The woman who'd given Amanda a reason to believe she could be more than what the world expected. Kong's sister hugged back, fierce and tight and desperate. I missed you, Amanda whispered. I missed you too. The woman pulled back, wiped her eyes roughly. But we don't have time for reunions. The family is mobilizing. They know Kong's alive. They know he's with you. And there, she looked at her brother. They're accelerating the timeline. What timeline? Kong asked. The one where they eliminate everyone who knows the truth about what happened 7 years ago, starting with the 3 of us. She moved to the window, checked the street with practiced paranoia. They think I'm dead, and they need to keep it that way. Because if the truth comes out, if people learn what really happened. What did happen? Amanda demanded. Yun said she killed you. Said the family paid her to do it. Kong's sister laughed, bitter and sharp. Yun tried to kill me. That part's true. But she failed. She turned back to them. Because someone warned me. Someone inside the family who knew what they planned. Someone who... She stopped, her face going complicated. Someone who saved my life at great personal cost. Who? Kong pressed. That's the part you're not going to believe. She took a breath. It was your fiancé. The room went silent. That's impossible, Kong said flatly. Yun tried to kill me. She confessed to killing you. She confessed to what she was supposed to do, not what she actually did. Kong's sister sat down slowly, like the weight of 7 years was suddenly too much. The family hired Yun 7 years ago to eliminate me and my child. They paid her well, gave her access, resources, everything she needed. And she was supposed to do it. Was supposed to inject me with the same cardiac medication she tried to use on you. But, Amanda prompted. But she couldn't go through with it. Not when she saw I was pregnant. Not when she realized. The woman's voice cracked. Not when she realized the baby was innocent in all of this. So she made it look like she'd succeeded. Faked my death. Got me out of the hospital before the family could verify. And then, she laughed without humor. Then she spent the next 7 years trying to find a way to tell Kong what she'd done without getting us both killed. By trying to marry him? Amanda's voice was skeptical. By trying to kill him? By getting close enough to control the narrative when he got sick. When the family started planning his execution, Kong's sister met her brother's eyes. Yun knew about the genetic condition. Knew you'd get sick eventually. She was waiting. Waiting for the moment when the family would try to move against you. So she could. So she could what? Kong's voice was dangerous. So she could play both sides? So she could pretend to love me while working with my family. So she could protect you, his sister said simply. The way she couldn't protect me. I don't believe this, Kong said. I saw her face when she tried to inject that medication. Saw her eyes. She wanted me dead. She wanted you to believe she wanted you dead. There's a difference. His sister stood. The medication she stole? I had it tested. It was saline. Harmless. The whole thing was theater. Amanda's mind was reeling. So Yun staged an attempted murder to what? Prove something to the family. To make them believe she was following through. To buy time. 2. Kong's sister stopped. To get you close to Kong, Amanda. That was the real plan. The world tilted again. What? Yun knew about you. I told her years ago, when she first saved my life, that if anything happened, if Kong ever needed help, you were the only person I trusted. Kong's sister smiled sadly. The mall collapse wasn't random. Kong's episode wasn't natural. Yun triggered it. Made sure he'd collapse in a public place, at a time when you were there, where you'd have to reveal yourself to save him. She orchestrated everything. Amanda breathed. She orchestrated everything. The emergency, the hospital admission, the family's response. All of it designed to put you and Kong together. To give you both the evidence you'd need to take down the family. 2. She looked at her brother. To give you a reason to fight. Kong sank onto the couch, processing. She set me up. She manipulated. She saved your life, his sister interrupted. Multiple times. In ways you'll never know about. And she's paying for it right now. What do you mean right now? I mean the family has her. They figured out she helped me escape. They figured out she's been protecting you. Kong's sister's face was grim. They arrested her this morning. And there. She stopped, swallowed hard. They're planning to execute her tomorrow. Public. Violent. A message to anyone else who might think about betraying the family. The room went cold. Where? Kong asked, his voice deadly calm. The family compound. Where they do all their dirty work. His sister met his eyes. Kong, you can't save her. You're not strong enough. You don't have the resources. She saved my sister. She saved me. She put her life on the line for years trying to keep us both breathing. Kong stood, swaying but determined. I'm not letting her die for that. You'll die trying. Then I'll die trying. Kong looked at Amanda. You don't have to come. This isn't your fight. Amanda laughed, the sound sharp and slightly unhinged. Are you out of your mind? Your sister taught me everything I know about loyalty and courage and standing up when the world tries to push you down. She grabbed her jacket. Besides, I'm not letting you walk into a death trap alone. Who's going to keep you from bleeding out? Amanda, Kong's sister started. No. Amanda's voice cut through the room like a blade. I came back to Seoul for one reason. To keep a promise. And that promise doesn't end just because things got complicated. She looked at Kong, at his sister, at the impossible situation they were all trapped in. Besides, I'm a black woman from Chicago's South Side. We don't run from fights. We finish them. Kong's smile was fierce and grateful. My sister was right about you. She usually is. Scar appeared in the doorway. Boss, if we're doing this, we need to move. The family's expecting you to run, to hide. They're not expecting an attack. Good. Kong checked his weapon, his movements more steady now, adrenaline overriding pain. Let's keep it that way. His sister grabbed his arm. Kong, listen to me. The compound is heavily guarded. You'd need an army to get in. Then we get an army. Kong pulled out his phone. I've been the nice boss for too long. Time to call in every favor, every debt, every person who owes me their life. He looked at his sister. Including you. You've been hiding for 7 years. Time to come home. They'll kill me on sight. Only if they see you. Kong's smile was sharp and dangerous and very much like his sister's. Which is why you're going to do what you do best. You're going to go through their defenses, get to Yun, and get her out. While we provide the distraction. That's insane. That's Tuesday. Kong moved toward the door. Amanda, you're with me. Scar, coordinate the teams. Sister, he paused. What do I even call you now? You've been dead for 7 years. Call me what you used to. Before the family tried to make me disappear. She smiled, sad and fierce. Call me G1. G1. Kong tested the name like he was afraid it might break. Are you sure about this? I've been hiding while you fought alone. While Yun played both sides to keep you alive. While Amanda came back to a country that should have killed her. G1's eyes were hard now, determined. I'm done hiding. Time to remind our family why they were so afraid of me in the first place. They moved as one. This impossible team of a dying mafia boss, a black nurse from Chicago, a ghost who refused to stay dead, and enough guards to make things interesting. The plan was insane. The odds were worse. The chances of survival were somewhere between slim and non-existent. But here's the thing about impossible situations. Sometimes they're the only ones worth walking into. Because sometimes you don't fight because you'll win. You fight because losing while standing up beats surviving on your knees. And as they piled into cars, as they armed themselves with weapons and determination and the kind of desperate courage that comes from having nothing left to lose, Amanda felt something settle in her chest. This was why she'd come back. Not just to keep a promise, not just to honor a friend, but because some fights are too important to walk away from, even if they kill you, especially if they kill you. The drive to the family compound took 30 minutes through Seoul's nighttime traffic. 30 minutes of checking weapons and reviewing plans, and trying not to think about the 100 ways this could go catastrophically wrong. Kong was pale but focused, his injured arm moving more freely now thanks to Amanda's work, and probably enough adrenaline to kill a normal person. You should have stayed at the safe house, he said to Amanda for the third time. And miss you dying stupidly without proper medical supervision? Not happening. Amanda checked the medical kit she'd brought, making sure she had everything for the worst-case scenarios her mind kept conjuring. Besides, someone has to keep Ji-won from killing everyone out of sheer principle. Ji-won smiled from the front seat. I've missed having you around to keep me honest. Someone has to do it. Lord knows your family isn't up for the job. The compound appeared like something from a nightmare dressed as a mansion. High walls, guard towers, the kind of security that screamed, we have things to hide, and people to hide them from. Kong's forces, such as they were, assembled at a distance. 20 men, maybe 25, against a compound that probably held 3 times that many. This is a terrible plan, Scar observed. All the best plans are, Kong replied, which is why it might actually work. G1 was already moving, disappearing into the shadows with the kind of practiced ease that said she'd been doing this long before the family tried to kill her. 5 minutes, she said through the comms. Then all hell breaks loose. Copy that, Kong replied. He looked at Amanda. Last chance to back out. Last chance for you to shut up and let me do my job. Amanda countered. Kong laughed. How did my sister ever let you go? She didn't. I'm still here. Amanda gripped her medical kit. Now let's go save your maybe girlfriend from your definitely homicidal family. The 5 minutes passed like 5 hours and 5 seconds all at once. Then the world exploded. Not literally, though it came close. Kong's forces hit the compound's main entrance with everything they had. Guns, grenades, enough noise and chaos to draw every guard in the compound toward the front gate. While G1 slipped in through the back, invisible as smoke. And Kong and Amanda went through the side entrance that wasn't supposed to exist, the one Ji-won had built years ago as an escape route and never told the family about. They moved through servant corridors and forgotten hallways, past the compound's public face into its rotting heart, past rooms where deals were made and people were broken and power was maintained through fear and violence. This is where I grew up, Kong said quietly as they moved. This is what my sister tried to escape, what she sacrificed everything to keep her child away from. Speaking of which, Amanda said, where is the child? That's the question, isn't it? Kong checked around a corner, motioned clear. G1 said the family has them somewhere. Insurance against her. Against me. Against anyone who might challenge their control. They found Yun in the basement. Because of course the family would keep their prisoners in the basement. Some cliches exist because they work. She was chained to a chair in the center of a concrete room, her face swollen from beating, her designer clothes torn and stained. But her eyes were still sharp, still calculating, still fighting. 2 guards stood watch. They went down before they could raise the alarm, Scar's team moving with silent efficiency. Yun looked up at Kong's approach, and something complicated crossed her face. Relief. Fear. Resignation. You came, she whispered. Did you think I wouldn't? Kong knelt in front of her, working at the chains. After everything you did? Everything you risked? I hoped. Yun's smile was broken and sad. But hope is dangerous in this family. Good thing we're about to destroy this family. Kong got the chains loose. Can you walk? Can I? Yun laughed, the sound slightly hysterical. I'm beaten, chained, and facing execution, but sure, walking's the hard part. Amanda was there instantly, assessing injuries with practiced eyes. 2 broken ribs, possibly 3. Concussion. Internal bleeding, but not immediately life-threatening. She looked at Kong. She needs a hospital. She needs out of here first. Kong helped Yun stand. Think you can make it too. The door exploded inward. Not metaphorically. Literally exploded, blown off its hinges by enough force to send shrapnel flying. And through the smoke walked a man who looked like an older, crueler version of Kong. Same bone structure. Same sharp eyes. Same presence. But where Kong had learned mercy from his sister, this man had perfected cruelty. Hello, son, Kong's father said, his voice smooth as poisoned honey. I was wondering when you'd show up. Kong's weapon was up instantly, aimed at his father's chest. Let us leave. Now. Or what? You'll shoot me? Your own father. The man laughed. You don't have it in you. G1 made you too soft. G1 made me human. There's a difference. Is there? Kong's father moved into the room, flanked by enough guards to turn this into a slaughter. Because from where I'm standing, you look like a dying boy playing at rebellion, with a black woman for backup and my traitorous daughter's former girlfriend for motivation. His eyes landed on Yun. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Did you think I wouldn't learn that you let G1 escape? You ordered me to kill a pregnant woman, Yun said, her voice steady despite her fear. I couldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. So you betrayed your contract. Betrayed this family. Betrayed me. Kong's father's smile was cold. And now you'll pay for it. All of you will. Not today. G1's voice came from behind the guards, and suddenly they were dropping, taken out by a woman who moved like violence incarnate. She appeared in the doorway, weapon drawn, face set in the kind of fury that burns cold instead of hot. Hello, father, she said. Miss me? Kong's father's face went white, then gray, then red with rage. You're supposed to be dead. I'm supposed to be a lot of things. Dead. Obedient. Broken. G1's smile was sharp enough to cut. But you taught me something important, father. You taught me that the only way to survive this family is to be more ruthless than they expect. She moved into the room. So here I am. Alive. Angry. And done playing by your rules. You think you can threaten me? Kong's father laughed. You're one woman with a gun. I have an army. Had an army. G1's smile widened. While you were focused on Kong's distraction at the front gate, I was systematically dismantling your security, taking out your communications, turning your guards against you with evidence of exactly how expendable you consider them. She tossed a phone at his feet. Check your messages. See how many of your people just quit. See how many decided they'd rather live than die for a man who treats them like ammunition. Kong's father picked up the phone. His face did something complicated as he scrolled through message after message of resignations, betrayals, outright mutinies. You've been planning this, he said slowly. For how long? 7 years, G1 said simply. 7 years of watching, waiting, building a case against you so complete that even your remaining loyalists can't ignore it. She pulled out a flash drive. Evidence of every crime, every murder, every betrayal, everything you've done to maintain power. And I've sent copies to every news outlet, every prosecutor, every person who's wanted you brought down but was too scared to act. You're destroying the family. I'm freeing the family. There's a difference. G1 looked at Kong. Get them out of here. I'll handle father. I'm not leaving you, Kong said immediately. You don't have a choice. G1's voice was gentle but absolute. You're dying, little brother. You need treatment, not a war. And Amanda needs to get you and Yun somewhere safe. She met Amanda's eyes. Take care of him. Like you promised. G1, Amanda started. Go. G1's smile was sad. I'll find you when this is over. I promise. They moved because they had to, because Kong was swaying dangerously now, because Yun could barely stand, because sometimes retreat is the only form of victory available. But as they ran through the compound, as explosions rocked the building behind them, as G1's plan unfolded in fire and revelation and the systematic destruction of a criminal empire, Amanda felt something crack open in her chest. Hope. Dangerous, desperate, impossible hope. They made it to the cars, made it out of the compound, made it 3 blocks before Kong collapsed. Boss. Scar caught him. Boss, stay with us. Amanda was there instantly, checking his pulse, his breathing, his vitals. He's crashing. The stress, the exertion, she looked up. I need a hospital. Now. They'll be watching hospitals. I don't care. He's dying right now. In the next 5 minutes if we don't get him help. Amanda's voice cracked. I didn't keep him alive this long to lose him in a parking lot. Yun, beaten and broken and barely conscious herself, managed to pull out a phone. I know a place. A doctor. Not part of the family. Not part of any of this. She looked at Amanda. But we need to move. They moved. Through Seoul's nighttime streets, running from the past, toward an uncertain future, carrying a dying man and too many secrets, and the fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, they'd all live long enough to see tomorrow. The Dr. Yun directed them to work out of a clinic in a neighborhood that Seoul's tourist guides never mentioned. The kind of place where questions weren't asked and cash worked better than insurance. He took one look at Kong and started working, no questions, no judgment, just medical efficiency. Amanda helped, her training and his expertise combining to pull Kong back from the edge he'd been dancing on all night. He'll live, the doctor said finally, hours later as dawn started painting the sky. But he needs rest. Real rest. Months of it. He'll get it, Amanda promised. Yun was on a cot in the corner, also being treated, her injuries less critical but still serious. She watched Amanda work on Kong with eyes that said she understood exactly what it cost to care about someone in this world. Thank you, Yun said quietly, for not leaving me there. Thank Ji-won. She's the one who planned all this. Ji-won planned the compound assault. But you're the one who came back to Seoul. You're the one who kept Kong alive long enough for any of this to matter. Yun's smile was sad. I've been trying to protect him for years. But I was doing it alone. It's good he has you now. He has both of us, Amanda corrected. If you'll stay. After everything I've done? Everything I've lied about. You saved his sister. You saved him. You spent 7 years playing a role so dangerous it should have killed you. Amanda met her eyes. That's not betrayal. That's sacrifice. There's a difference. Yun's eyes filled with tears. Ji-won said you were special. She was right. She usually is. The clinic's door opened. Everyone's hands went to weapons. But it was Ji-won, bloody and exhausted but alive, so impossibly alive. It's done, she said simply. The family's leadership is in custody. The evidence is everywhere. The Empire, she smiled tiredly. The Empire is burning. Like it should have burned years ago. Kong stirred on the bed, his eyes opening. Ji-won. I'm here, little brother. The child. Your child. Where? Safe. Ji-won's smile widened, and she stepped aside to reveal a young girl, maybe 6 years old, holding the hand of one of Scar's guards. I got her out. During the chaos. While father was focused on us, I found where he'd been keeping her. And now, her voice broke. Now she's free. We're all free. The girl looked at Kong with curious eyes. His eyes. Ji-won's eyes. The family's eyes, but without the cruelty that generations had bred into them. Hello, Uncle, the girl said in careful English. Mommy says you've been sick. Are you feeling better? Kong's face did something complicated. Then he smiled, genuine and warm and human. I'm feeling better now. Amanda watched this reunion, this impossible family forged from blood and choice and the kind of fierce love that survives everything, and felt tears streaming down her face. Ji-won noticed. Came over. Hugged her like she used to in their dorm room years ago. You kept your promise, Ji-won whispered. You took care of him. We took care of each other. Amanda corrected. Like you taught us. I taught you a lot of things. I'm glad this one stuck. They stood there, two women from different worlds bound by the kind of friendship that transcends everything, watching a family begin to heal from wounds that went back generations. But wait, because here's where everything shifts one more time. Because just when you think the story's over, just when you think everyone's safe, just when you think maybe, possibly, they all get to live. Kong's phone rang. He answered it despite Amanda's protests. Listened, and his face went from peaceful to terrified in the space of a heartbeat. What? Ji-won asked. That was Scar. At the compound. Kong's breath caught. Father's not in custody. He escaped. During the chaos. And his eyes met Amanda's, wide with fear. He knows about you. About Chicago. About your family there. Amanda's blood ran cold. He's on a plane to Chicago right now, Kong continued. With enough men to, he couldn't finish. To send a message, Ji-won finished grimly. That no one betrays this family without consequences. That even in defeat, we can reach anywhere. Amanda's phone was in her hand before her brain fully processed it, dialing her mother's number with shaking fingers. It rang, and went to voicemail. She tried her sister. Same result. Her brother, her aunts, everyone she'd left behind in Chicago to come to Seoul to keep a promise. Nothing. No. Amanda breathed. No, no, no. Kong was struggling to sit up. I'll send people. You'll do nothing. You're barely conscious. Amanda was moving, grabbing her jacket, her passport, everything she'd need. I'm going. Now. Amanda, you can't face my father alone. He's about to learn that you don't threaten a black woman's family without consequences. Amanda's voice was ice and fire and absolute conviction. Your sister taught me a lot of things. One of them was that sometimes the only way to protect what you love is to become more dangerous than what threatens it. Ji-won grabbed her arm. Then take me with you. You're not doing this alone. You just got your daughter back. You're not leaving her. Then take Scar. Take backup. Take. I'm taking a plane ticket and enough rage to burn Chicago to the ground if necessary. Amanda pulled free, gentle but firm. This is my fight now. My family. My turn to protect what matters. Kong's hand caught hers. Come back, he said simply. Whatever it takes. Come back. I will, Amanda promised. Because I still have a job to finish. You're not healed yet. She moved toward the door, toward the airport, toward Chicago, and whatever horror Kong's father was planning. But she paused at the threshold. Looked back at this impossible family she'd found herself part of. Part 3, she said. There's always a part 3. Then she was gone, running toward a fight she might not survive, to protect a family that had no idea they were in danger, to prove that some promises are worth keeping even when they cost everything. And as the clinic door closed behind her, as Ji-won held her daughter close, as Kong struggled against his own weakness to follow, as Yun watched with eyes that understood sacrifice too well, one thing became clear. This story wasn't over. It was just beginning. If you made it to the end of this insanity, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, smash that like button so hard it breaks because we're just getting started. Second, comment and tell me if you think Amanda's family is already dead or if she's going to make it in time. And third, subscribe because part 3 is going to be absolutely devastating. We're taking this fight to Chicago. We're going to see Amanda unleash everything she's been holding back. And we're going to learn that Kong's father made the worst mistake of his life when he threatened the wrong woman's family. This is True Soul Stories, where the story doesn't end until everyone gets what they deserve. See you in part 3, if we survive that long.